Greetings everyone, my name is Matt and welcome to my new channel, Wrench with Matt. In this channel, I plan to produce informative and instructional videos on different vehicle systems, modifications, and accessories. I was recently blessed with the ability to purchase a brand new 2025 Toyota Tacoma Off-Road in Supersonic Red. And while this channel will primarily focus on my new truck, I do occasionally work on extended family vehicles, and I will include videos of that as well for a little variety. Without further ado, let's just jump right into my first project, where I'm going to install a 2-channel dash cam in my brand new truck. We'll start with a quick unboxing here. The dash cam I chose is a BlackVue DR970X 2-channel. That means it has front and rear facing dash cams. The front dash cam is actually 4K. I have already installed a 256 gig SD card in the forward facing camera. The SD card is the only storage for both cameras. It records both front and rear video there. We've got an owner's manual, which has lots of information in it, which is great. And then all the cables and everything you need to install the camera are in this box down here. It's opened up here. Now there's more wires here than you need. There's also some extra 3M adhesives. Some of these are hooks for cable routing and stuff. Very nice. This tool here will come in very handy when we go to route the cable in different areas. And this allows you to get the trim pulled back just enough so you can get the wire tucked in behind it. This cable here is the cable that goes between the front and the rear camera. It's a simple coaxial style cable, and you can see there's quite a bit of it here. This is made for larger vehicles. My truck is not that large from a front to back perspective, so I will end up tucking a vast majority of this cable into different pillars and whatnot to hide the unsightly excess coil. The package you have here, this is if you are going to wire it directly into your battery or into a BlackVue battery pack. I'm not doing that here, so I'll just put that right back in the box for the moment. And then this cable is the power cable. That'll go into a 12-volt outlet in the truck somewhere. And then that's what powers up the camera, and power is carried over this coaxial cable to the rear camera as well. One thing I want to add before we get going, I placed these in here just so I wouldn't drop them on the floor or the ground. These 3M pads are very adhesive, and it is very hard to get the red protective tape off. So you might need an X-Acto knife or a razor blade to just kind of try to catch the edge of the red film to see if you can get that off. I found sometimes a pair of needle nose pliers is able to get a hold of just the film and get it to break away. Once you get it started, it's pretty easy to peel the rest of the way off. It's just getting started that's the hard part. I'm actually going to start with the rear camera and maybe demonstrate just how, hopefully not so hard this is. Okay, folks, I have resorted to the razor blade, and as you can see, it's a little old and rusty. Thankfully, my tetanus shot is up to date. Kidding, I have no intention of stabbing myself with this. The idea here is to just kind of grab the edge where you can just get the red film without getting into the gummy adhesive underneath. BlackVue, I love your cameras. Absolutely love them to death. I despise the 3M. Well, I love the 3M adhesive. I just wish I could get the film off it easier, because this is a royal pain in the neck. This is my only complaint with BlackVue cameras, is this film. The adhesive underneath is awesome. I wish they left a little tab sticking out that you could get a hold of. The nice thing is once you get it started, it'll come right off and it won't be an issue. Wow. Yeah, this is fun. I will work with this off camera. I was able to get the razor blade in underneath the edge there just a little bit, and now we can just peel this right off. No problem. Now I will peel off the other protective plastic. Do your best not to touch the adhesive. You'll get your finger royals and stuff on it. It won't stick quite as well. Usually once you put these in place, they are permanent. Now in my case, I'm going to turn this around so the camera is facing the same direction. I'll adjust the angle later. I want the coax connector on this side, facing the driver's side of the vehicle, because that's the side I'm going to run the cable on. I apologize for the shaky camera work. There's just not a good place for my tripod in these tight quarters. Now this is a power sliding window, but it slides that way, so I can put this camera right here. I wanted it above the defroster line, so it's not sitting on that and causing any interference or damage there. And then the cable will be tucked in to some of the trim and plug in right in this end. For the front camera, I was able to get the razor blade underneath just the edge there and was able to get this to peel off as well. So the razor blade does work. You have to kind of go from the middle and at an angle right at the very edge, and then kind of pry up and try to catch just that red tape. All right, I've already peeled all the protective plastic off here, and I'm going to find a good place to mount this on the windshield. I try to keep it as centered as possible. In this case, I have plenty of room right here to put it, and it's right behind the rearview mirror, so it's not blocking my view at all. So I'm going to put it right there. Looks a piece straight. I'll tip this down some, and I'll adjust camera angle, dial it in once I get everything in place. Now to put the power cord and the cable for the rear camera in place. For the power, I'm going to go over the passenger side. The coaxial cable for the rear camera has to go on the driver's side because my power window opens toward the passenger side. So by sending the two cables in different directions, they don't conflict with one another. These cables do take a moment to unwind. This will take me a minute. I'm going to try to get most of the twists and kinks out of it. I'm not being super firm, just kind of dragging my hand over it to get it untwisted. And just leave it here. Start at one end, work your way to the other so you don't have twists stuck in the middle. That's no fun. Now this is where we'll need a couple of those little clips, but I'm just going to run this by hand for now. Power goes in right here. I believe I might be able to slip it in underneath the edge of the plastic around the rearview mirror. If I can slip it in behind here without too much trouble, then I won't actually need any clips. So this is where this tool comes in really handy. You can get kind of in underneath some of this stuff. Again, I don't want to pry too hard because I don't want to break anything. If I can bend that out just enough to tuck this wire in, it is not going to bend as far as I would like it to, so I'll use a couple of those clips here. But first, I'm just going to route the cable. And the nice thing, like with your headliner here, there's always a little gap, so you can just tuck this wire in this little gap right here, go up and around. Now I'll need that tool again in just a moment when I get to this A pillar, because it's going to tuck in right inside this plastic area here. The nice thing, you can also use this tool to push on the cable to get it tucked in. Yeah, this is not the most comfortable angle. Right here, it's being a little bit of a pain. This is really stiff because there's a handle, grab handle right there. There we go. Okay, I got a little too much slack there. Or I pulled a little too much on it, I mean. There we go, that's tucked in. Now this is the power, so this needs to come down. So we're going to come right inside this rubber channel here. Just work our way around the A pillar. And this A pillar is going to be where we are going to hide some of this wire. You can also tuck it up underneath the glove box. It actually feels like I have a good groove back there to do it. So let's get this tucked in here. I do also have side curtain airbags, but they're up here, so they're out of the way. All right, I'm going to come down here now. Just tucked a bit in there. And again, this tool that comes with it, very helpful to get in underneath here, because you just get underneath this flap, and then you just push the wire in all the way down. Dashboard appears to be in the way here. That's a challenge I've never encountered before. But the process is still the same. Getting this in behind this rubber seal. It'll sit right here, so it won't get pinched by the dash or the door. I will need to edit a fair bit of this out. It's going slowly but surely. I'm just tucking it between the back edge of the plastic of the dash and this rubber door seal. It's all, again, it's all tucked in. It's going to be behind the dash. It's not getting crimped by the door. Once I get it around this bottom corner there we go. Now I can just get it behind this seal, which is easier said than done. The cable for the rear camera will be much easier to get installed because that just stays along the edge of the headliner the whole way. There we go. Got my finger in behind it. So now we can get this tucked in underneath there. Beautiful. Oh yeah, that'll work. That'll work just fine. I got it up and over the tray. I'm just getting a little tension on it. Now it's actually pulling it back, so it should not fall off the tray, which is great. Just need a little more to get this plugged in. Perfect. Beautiful. Okay, that's the power cord. I need to get a clip. Probably 2 clips. 1 clip here. That should do it. These pads are usually easier, and I was able to just get that with my fingernail. It's the same 3M adhesive, but it just seems to be a little better at letting loose. So yes, I know that fell down. I just put my finger right on it, just like I said not to. Note to self and note to you guys, clip this onto the wire before you pull the little plastic off. There we go, it's on the wire. I'm gonna put you right there, right up against here. Take out most, but not all of the slack. There we go. And we'll tuck this back up in here. Honestly, that seems to be a pretty good fit up in there. And I can get it just over the edge of the headliner, so it kind of falls down in. So that should help keep that in place. I'm not going to put a second clip right here yet. I'm just going to see how it sits. If it's happy and it doesn't fall down, I'll leave it alone. Now for the coaxial cable for the back camera. This cable has a straight end and a 90 end. I like to do the 90 end here at this camera so that the cable just comes right straight up and off, and then I'll run it around the driver's side. You want to really unspool this a fair bit before you start running it. This coaxial cable is usually much easier for the back camera than the power cable is. Power cable is much thicker and a little stiffer, a little more difficult to deal with. I've only had the truck for 2 days, 48 hours, but I absolutely love it. The power cable is kind of in my way, so I'm just moving that out of the way so I can plug this in. One plug right here on the side. Then I'm just going to route this over. I'm going to plug the power back in. So we've got this cable here. I'm going to put a clip right here. And like I said before, put the clip on before you peel the plastic off. And again, this cable being a little thinner, a little easier to get into the clip. There we go. You can always adjust the position on the fly. And if you guys can hear the birds, this is one of the first few nice days in March. And it's just been beautiful today. It has been an absolutely gorgeous day. It's so nice to hear the birds. All right, I'm gonna make sure I'm looking good here. I want to keep it right up against the windshield, right up against this plastic area, this plastic surround behind the rear view mirror. And now we start tucking it in over the headliner. All right, I'm going to go ahead and show you the cables here. This is your power cable. They are unique, so you can't switch them up. So this is just a DC, standard DC power cable. Goes in right there. And then this is the rear camera cable. Just a coaxial type push fit connector. And of course I'm not going to be able to put it in because I've got that cable nice and tight like it's supposed to be. Alright, hopefully that will work. So we're just going to pry over here a little bit so we can get this cable tucked in around the corner. And then again, just like on the other side where we got in behind this piece of rubber molding here, we'll do the same thing and take it right over to this B pillar here. So we'll tuck this in here. I was able to pry that out far enough I could get my fingertip in underneath there. Once you get this up just a little bit and get it started, you should pretty much be able to get your finger in behind there and run the cable all the way down. Of course, it's going to make a liar out of me, isn't it? I just need to, there we go. I just need a little push on it so it's not pulling against me. Okay, and that cable is all tucked up in there. Now we'll go around to the B pillar. Let me rotate the camera a bit. Really hope the HDR is working, because if it's not, you're not going to be able to see much. Black on bright sky behind it. And this, the B pillar is actually loose enough. There's enough of a gap there I was able to just push it in with my fingers. This I was able to just push in with my fingers. Nice gap there. Just need to get in underneath this rubber trim here. I'm just feeding it with one hand and letting my finger run it through with the other. Plenty of room on the C pillar as well. There is a seat belt right here on the C pillar, but it feels like I have plenty of room to push this excess cable in here. So I will do that. I only need maybe 18 inches at most to get from this corner to the camera itself. Almost there. Okay, the back camera's right here. I need to come around to the C pillar, tuck it up in underneath the headliner, which is an interesting challenge because I have this extra bar for the power rear window. So that's going to make life a little more challenging. Again, I'm able to just push this in with my finger. I'm going to make sure I have enough slack, which I do. At this point, I'm actually going to start at the camera. Plug the camera in, and then I'll get this wire tucked up and out of the way. Oh, look at that. I think I've done this a couple times before. All right, using the tool to push the wire up underneath the headliner, at least trying to. That seems pretty good. I'm even having a hard time seeing it with the bright light outside. Make sure this is secure. Okay, I believe it's installed. The BlackVue camera is installed. I just powered it up and it powered on just fine. I was able to connect to it in my phone in the BlackVue app. I even downloaded and upgraded the firmware, and it is fully operational. I did have to adjust the cameras, adjust the angle of them some up and down, make sure you're catching the right field of view. Other than that, it is good to go. Thank you so much for following along with this installation. Hope it helped, and quite frankly, I hope the video came out well enough to be able to see what I was doing, tucking the cable in the dark places. Thank you, everyone. Have a fantastic day, and we'll catch you in the next video.